Hello and welcome to Craft Ventures, and today I'm going to show you how to sew granny squares together to create a blanket. In here you'll see I have my granny square puppy pattern with a wide variety of different sizes. This pattern is available for purchase on my website. Head on over there if you're interested. To sew together a granny square blanket you will need the following: a sewing needle, some yarn, a pair of scissors, and then alternatively, if you don't want to use a sewing needle, you can always use a crochet hook. So to begin, I like to pan out all of my squares to kind of figure out what way I would like it to be and the design that I would like. So as you see, I kind of just pin down every square after I have blocked it. And this is kind of the idea that I'm going for it. To begin, I'm going to actually start on the bottom. I know there are a few ways that you can actually just map it out to kind of go so you have to do less weaving. I personally have zero preference for that. I don't mind weaving in my ends. But to begin, I'm going to take my sewing needle and my yarn and just thread that needle. And we are going to start with these two squares right here. So what I'm going to do, I'll unpin them. If I can figure out which pins are for it. I have a little bit of a mess of pins here. And, oh, it's still stuck on there. There we go. Same thing with that one. All right, so I'm actually going to probably turn this in a second, but here we are. We're going to start with our two squares. I'm actually going to turn this mat so you guys have a little bit of contrast to see and you're not getting confused with seeing these squares back here. All right, so here we are with our two squares that we are going to join, and I have them in the position that I'm going to want. What I like to do is I will just sandwich those together, and essentially what we will do is we will sew back and forth these two pieces. I personally love to use stitch markers kind of just to help myself guide. It's not necessary, but I'm just going to use a stitch marker in each of the corners, just like so. All right, and now I'm going to flip it this way and we're going to work. So I just want to make sure everyone can see. When sewing them together, you will kind of see there's going to be a little bit of a loop right here. Hopefully you guys can see each one of your loops or your stitches. What we will do is we will actually go in between the two. This is called a mattress stitch, by the way. And pull it through. And then it's a little harder to see on the blue yarn, but essentially same thing, going to go between the two and pull through. And then again, go through the yellow side and just gently pull. I like to pull loosely so it's not too tight yet. At the very end or halfway through, I like to pull it really tight. So we will just continue this process of working in between the stitches on both sides until we get all the way to the end. I am going to pause this video and you're going to continue that, going back and forth into each one of those stitches until you have it closed. I'll meet you at the end. All right, so now that I have two of the sides, I've gone all the way across essentially. What I'll do is I'm now going to pull both of these ends and tighten it up. So as you see, you can kind of see it's a little loose still. And all you'll do is just pull it tight, and you'll pull from the other side as well. And you kind of just keep doing both sides until it is nice and flush. So there, I do have an end I need to weave in, but as you see, it's just a nice clean finish. Same thing on the back, it's just a nice clean finish between the two. So that is one method of joining squares. I'm going to show you how to join another square right up here using a crochet hook. I'm going to show you that method with slip stitch and then also with a single crochet. So I'm going to be now pulling off this next puppy square, which is my next one to work on. And this one will be going right up here. So I'm going to continue to use a nice contrasting colored yarn so that you can see the difference. So, going to start with your yarn, and you're just going to create a slip knot. And now what you're going to do is you're going to fold the two pieces together again, just like we had done before. And you can do this on this side, so this would be on the right side, or you can flip it and do it on the wrong side. I'm actually going to do it on the wrong side just so we have that seam in the back. And you're going to just sandwich the two pieces and do a single crochet all the way to the end. I will admit this process is a lot easier than sewing, but it will come with its disadvantages, which I will show you at the very end. So as you see, this one's going a lot faster than the other method. The other method took me quite some time, whereas this one just takes a couple seconds. All right, so now that I have that joined, I'm just going to trim my yarn. If you do prefer this method, I would recommend using maybe a little bit more of a subtle yarn. I did use a high contrast color just so we could see it a little bit better. But from the opposite side, it will kind of look like so. So it'll look like there's actual little stitches connecting the two. From the back side, it will look like that. So it will not be completely flush. It'll kind of have a little bit of a ridge. So again, if you do prefer this method, totally fine. That's what you can do. Now in the next one, I'm going to show you how to do a slip stitch. So again, I'm going to pull off my next puppy. Pulling off my next square, not puppy. Sorry, my big head is probably in the camera. So essentially same thing as what we had done with the single crochet. We're going to start with a slip knot, and we are going to work on the wrong side. And that process is going to be done the same way we did our single crochet. Just instead, we are just doing a slip knot. And again, this slip knot method is a lot faster than the actual sewing with a sewing needle method. But in the very end, I'm sure you will all see why I prefer to use the sewing needle in the very end. Sorry, I got a little bit too close. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm just gonna pull that up. So now the difference. There's my slip stitch. So it does essentially look the same as my single crochet in the front. And in the back, it's going to be a little bit tighter in comparison to your single crochet. So I'll lay that out flat. I'll actually bring the camera down nicely so we can see it up close. Whoa. Showing you guys my craft mess. So there it is up close, essentially, with all of the different methods. So this was our sewing method, this was our single crochet, and this was our slip stitch. And this is all from the back. Again, from the front, we have, I'll bring those ears forward. We have our sewing method, the mattress stitch, our single crochet, and then our slip stitch. If I were to prefer one, I would definitely do the mattress stitch and then probably the single crochet. From here, you can continue to add all of your squares until your blanket is as big as you would like. And then you could even add a border, which I will create a video for this later. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to stay crafty and stay adventurous. And also like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.